house is on Medicaid.
There's a lot of fear-mongering.
People are gonna go hungry, people are gonna get sick.
What's the truth behind the big beautiful bill? We have people on the left saying that it's super bad and it quite literally will cause the death and destruction of America. And then we have people on the right celebrating it, saying that it's not that bad and it's actually really good for America. Whole time, probably you and me, we're just sitting in the middle like, what the hell is actually really going on? Because emotions are flying everywhere, headlines are flying everywhere, and it's very dramatic. And when it's this dramatic, when it's this high tension, it's hard to process exactly what is going on. However, in this video, we're gonna be breaking down the big beautiful bill in a very calm and rational perspective. We're gonna be discussing the top items in the bill and how it will affect us from both a left and right perspective. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. Without further ado, let's dive right into this video.
As one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid.
Regardless whether you like her or not, just looking at this from a high level point of view, doesn't this sound terrifying coming from someone in Congress? It's just fear, fear, fear. High tension, high stress. It's like, can you calm down and actually break down what's actually going on? Because when you look into what she's mad about, if we just start from the beginning of this video, she was talking about, oh, well, let's talk about this tax on tips. It has a cap of $25,000. Okay, I don't understand what's the big hubbubaloo about that. It has a cap. If you make more than that in tips, it'll be counted towards taxes. But if you make under the $25,000, none of that's tax. That's just money all for you, and you don't have to give a cut of your hard-earned paycheck, your hard-earned tips to the government. Why are you upset at that? At that, we'll get to this later on in the video, but she's talking about, oh, if you make under $50,000 and you're really the one that's most at hurt. That's not necessarily how this works. And again, we're going to go through this later on in the video. That's the case for some people, but not all. I'll leave that there for right now. But this is a lot of fear mongering. Oh, they're taking away SNAP, taking away your Medicaid. That doesn't apply to everybody. We'll be getting through SNAP, we'll be getting through Medicaid, and I actually have a whole another video coming out just on SNAP and EBT and welfare. So be sure to subscribe for that. But everything that she's doing right now, it's sad to say, but it's purely fear mongering and stoking flames of people's emotions. And it's quite manipulative, to be honest.
And their healthcare extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you? Losing all your health care, not able to feed your babies, not being able to put a diaper on their bottom in exchange for what?
Is this not... It's so dramatic. It's not that deep. It's not that crucial. It's not gonna be like that. You will be able to feed your baby. Like if you are working and you're making enough money, you can take care of your child. It's not like all of a sudden people just can't take care of their families because of this bill. That's not how this works. Yes, some things are changing. Yes, some people are losing Medicaid. Yes, some people are losing SNAP, but it's not a one button press and then boom, all of it's gone. No, it applies to certain people. But if you said that, people would calm down. But without saying that, you're getting everybody riled up in emotions. You're making people think, oh, I'm about to lose it all. Well, more often than not, they're probably doesn't be fine. Like when we go through this bill, it's not, there are some things I disagree with. This suspending's up there a lot. I get it. But in terms of like how it's being portrayed in the media, it's very concerning how they're twisting this narrative of the bill and really making what's in the bill bad. Because off the bat, real quick, the people on the left are mad at the things in the bill, and the people on the right are more mad at the spending of the bill. Like no one really on the right is complaining about the things in it. There were some things earlier, like a few weeks ago, that were taken out. But for the most part, people on the left are mad at what's happening in the bill, and people on the right are more mad at what's actually like the spending part. Let's dive into this bill and see exactly what's going on. And thank goodness, honestly, for USA Today for this graph, because it put together this graphic so well. I've been searching in and out how to best explain this bill, and it just broke it down in such a beautiful way. So we're gonna go through this together. What we see here is if your income falls below $58,000, you are likely to lose benefits from programs such as Medicaid, health insurance marketplaces, supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP, the EBT cards, and student loans. What's important to note is that these are projections, okay? And these are projections based off of the averages of the people in these incomes. Typically, if you are in those two areas, under 20,000, in between 20,000 and 58,000, people in those ranges use the Medicaid and the health insurance stuff and the SNAP. That's what that's referring to. And with the cuts being taken, basically that amount, like that $885 and $1,000, that's basically saying that's how much now you're probably going to be spending more because of those cuts. So it's like for the people that are losing these benefits, they're going to be spending more money because they don't have the benefits to rely on. And that's the money that they're going to be spending more. Does that make sense? And that's why that's going down. Whereas every other bracket, goes up because one, they're not relying on those benefits. And two, they're going to be saving that money because their taxes aren't going to be going to those areas. Like this says right here, if your income is in the top 0.1%, you'll have an even greater benefit in 2027. You'll save $301,000, partially because of other changes that will sunset by 2030. When I look at this, right, I don't get mad, I don't get upset, I don't get emotional, mainly because all I see honestly is more money being put back into America. When I see these people saving more money, I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's clearly gonna go back into America, whether that be through employees or through just shopping, vacations, whatever, maybe supporting local businesses. I know for me, if I had this extra money, I'll be hiring another person. Like, it's the people in these brackets that create the businesses that give all the jobs for people to work in the first place. So why am I gonna be mad at the opportunity that they're giving people, At that, people are up in arms about, let's just stick with this example, the $885 and $1,000. $1,000. Like this iPhone's $1,000. How many people who make under 20,000 or between 20 and $58,000 have an iPhone? It's $1,000. Like I'm not trying to say $1,000 isn't a lot of money, but I am saying how much people throw around $1,000 and how quick they are to finance something like that. At that, we'll get into this later on in the video. People will see this and scream about injustice and this, that, and the third, and oh, my taxes, this, taxes, that. You literally vote for your tax money to be taken and given to illegal immigrants. So you can't sit here and complain about everything going wrong in the United States and then also vote to send all this money to people who are breaking the law. What we see here, no tax on tips or overtime wages. Starting this year, the first $25,000 of tips will be tax deductible through 2028 with a $150K income limit or $300K filing jointly. Jobs considered tip work are spelled out, such as food servers, beauticians, so on and so forth. Starting this year, up to $12,000 and $500 of extra overtime pay will be tax deductible through 2028 with an $150K income limit, same thing as last before. So to me, very solid. You make money, you have your tips, your cash tips. You don't have to claim taxes on that. That is all yours. Cool. What else we got going on? Tax standard deduction. Permanently raises standard deduction to $15,750 for individuals and $31,500 for married couples and $23,625 for heads of households. After 2025, it'll be adjusted for inflation. Cool. We're still clear in my book to me. Increased SALT deduction. Taxpayers can write off a portion of their state and local taxes or SALT from their federal taxes. Raises the cap from $10,000 to $40,000 and increases 1% annually. Deductions start in 2025 and falls back to $10,000 in 2029. Cool. More write-offs. This isn't just for the rich. It's for everybody. Deduct car loan interest. Car buyers could deduct up to $10,000 annually in car loan interest payments if they buy a vehicle assembled in the United States. This is a win. What this says is, hey, you bought a car that was made in America, you're going to save money on that. You don't have to, basically, it's like the interest that you're paying on the car loan, you can deduct up to $10,000 of that annually because you're supporting an American-made business. Again, not seeing something super alarming here and all these emotions. The deduction phases out between $100K and $150K and between $200K and $250K if you file jointly. Senior tax deduction. Through 2028, each person over 65 can deduct an additional $6,000. These emotions, you guys, I can't even. We just saw in that AOC video. Like, and what I'm seeing on TikTok and this big, beautiful bill, oh my gosh, it's so bad. I've been seeing so much about it. I'm sitting here like, this it? Bigger estate tax exemption. Allow people to pass $15 million tax-free to their heirs. Some people may find issue with that. I necessarily, without the change, the almost 14 million exemption would have expired at the end of 2025. It was over $7 million. On the one end, I get it because it's like if I work this hard in my life and I want to pass this on to my offspring, that should be all theirs, not necessarily the state, but it's limited anyways. I'll give a little pass to that. But again, whoop-de-doo. Increased child tax credit raises the child tax credit from $2,000 to $2,200, an extra $200. After 2025 will be adjusted for inflation. Help me find where it's this bad. Saving account for kids. Children under 8 will receive $1,000 each to open a special savings account. Tax-free contributions to account limited to $5,000 annually until the child is 18. Savings can be used after the child turns 18. I'm not saying something super bad about that. Private school vouchers. Up to $5,000 in tax credits to use for education from private schools to homeschooling. Cool. Who is eligible? Families who make less than 3 times their local median income. You know what that means? Families who make less than 3 times their local median income, that's called low-income families getting a tax credit. It's not just the rich, you guys. This is everybody. And then it gets into what areas will get more from the bill. More for defense increases the spending by $153 billion. That's a lot of money, but for reference, we've given that much money to Ukraine. Just keeping it real. It includes $25 billion for a Golden Dome missile defense system. Cool. I'm all for defense. It includes $7.5 billion for quality of life improvements to housing, healthcare, childcare, and education. We've been talking about how the quality of life for our army and our defense is kind of rough, and some of these bases are rough. Now we're going to fix it up. You guys, more for border security would increase by $150 billion. $50 billion completing the wall on the southern border, $45 billion detention centers, $8 billion additional immigration officers, $27 billion deportations. Again, cool. Especially this one, I see not lasting that long. Like that, the deportations, that's going to be gone once like we get it under wraps. The detention centers, that'll be under wrap. Like, and also you complain about how crappy our detention centers are. Okay, now we're going to spend more money on it. Like, yes, this bill is spending a lot of money, but damn, I'd rather the money be, it's bad. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'd rather this money be spent on these kinds of things. I get it. We're spending more money, but damn, I'd much rather be spent on the United States than everywhere else under the sun on the illegal immigrants, this, that, and the third. At least it's going to things I can agree with. I mean, this just seems like common sense. Let's get into what areas would get less money from the bill. Cuts. Estimated savings over the next 10 years, $1 trillion. Medicaid. 11.8 million people could lose their health insurance coverage over the next decade. This adds an 80-hour per month work requirements for adults without children or disabilities, meaning you need to be working 20 hours a week. You need to have a part-time job to maintain your Medicaid, at least. This encourages people to work. Like, that's the context right there. Because there are tons of people out there, their entire life, they're just coasting by off the government. And they've had enough of it. They truly have. And now they're saying, if you don't have a kid and you are able-bodied, you need at least a part-time job to qualify for Medicaid. Cool. More frequent eligibility checks. Cool. Double check, triple check, and make sure people are what they say they are and that they still need this help. Again, it is a safety net, not a hammock. This isn't for you to just lay on and just relax. It's a net to catch you and help you get you back on your feet. The program will not fund services at clinics that also perform abortions. Cool. If you want to get an abortion, if you were out there having sex and doing what you want to do and you got pregnant and you want an abortion, you have to pay for it yourself or you're having this child. You don't get to have sex willy-nilly and keep trying to keep having the government and everybody's tax money pay for your abortions. No. All that's saying, that program will not fund services at clinics that also perform abortions, all that's saying is, you want an abortion, you gotta pay for yourself. We're not taking this tax money to pay for abortions. That's it. Tightens the rules for payments to states. Cool. Savings over the next 10 years, $300 billion. Snap. That's the welfare, that's the EBT cards, the food stamps. Requires states to provide funding for food assistance program. Cool. States, you gotta participate too. You gotta help donate, give this some money. Only provided to permanent legal residents. Enough giving SNAP and giving all these benefits to illegal immigrants. And yes, this does happen. There are also new work requirements for people 55 to 64. You gotta work. Requires congressional approval to increase benefits. Exempts Alaska and Hawaii from cost sharing. Cool. Green energy rollbacks. Repeals the $7,500 tax credit for electric cars on September 30th, 2025, along with other rules encouraging Americans to adopt electric cars. That's fine. I have 2 Teslas. This has been a thing coming in and out For the longest of time, it is okay. Let's get into how big is the bill for the tax bill. Depending on who you ask on Capitol Hill, the cost of the bill could be as little as $440 billion, while other more conventional estimates put the cost to nearly 10 times higher. Down here it says more traditional methods have pegged the cost around 2.7 to 3.3 trillion dollars. A very expensive bill. But with that being said, you guys, I am not one to get all wrapped up in my emotions and my feelings and hipper and hollering and getting all upset over this bill. There are more people upset at this bill and more politically charged and more in tune with this bill than they are with their own lives. And I'm sorry, some of you have way more to be worried about, way higher priorities than this damn bill. And if you are so concerned about this bill affecting you, look into it. Don't listen to just AOC. Don't listen to just me. Look into it for yourself, get to the fine print and find out if it's actually affecting you, because more likely than not, if you actually do need the help and you have all the reasons to need the help, you're gonna be good. You're fine. But all this fear mongering has to come to a stop. And more often than not, like I said before, you're going to be fine. I've seen so many emotions being thrown over this. So, I mean, hell, even Elon Musk, he's mad about it too. But like I said before, he's not even mad really at what's in the bill, but more so the cost of it. And he's so mad, he's creating another political party. Musk announces forming of America Party in further break from Trump. Because remember, him and Trump been beefing about this bill. And Elon Musk came in with Doge to help reduce the spending, reduce, the wasteful spending in the government and fix things up. And then Trump just shoved in this bill and said, here we go, more spending. And Elon's not having it at all, which I have respect for. I can get behind that. But again, I necessarily didn't expect, if we're talking about Republicans and Democrats and we're talking about our entire lives and watching the circus happen, did we really expect them to not spend money? I mean, that's just me. And truth be told, if they're gonna be spending this money, I'd rather be going to the things that actually matter, but I also do respect and know that we can't just keep printing money like this and we can't just keep going in debt and debt. Something does need to change. And that's exactly what Elon Musk is fighting for with creating his own party. If we're looking at the different coverage from the left and the right, the left, the party aims to challenge the existing two-party system and promote freedom. Republicans are concerned that Musk's feud with Trump might negatively affect their chances in the 2026 midterm elections, which I completely agree. Because you already have people on the left not really liking Elon as it is, but then what you do have is Elon and the more libertarians and that whole kind of vibe on the right really splitting apart and saying, hey, enough is enough. And I do think it is going to gain some traction. So it will be interesting to see how this all plays out. On the right, yeah, Musk announcements follows a public fallout with President Trump over Trump's economic legislation, which Musk criticized for increasing the national debt. It's all just about the money, you guys. And coming from one of the world's richest men on the planet, he loves America and he's had enough with the amount of spending and he wants to change it with this new party. And I'm very intrigued by it and I'm going to look into it. And I will definitely be filling you guys in on it. But as always, especially in this political climate, if you want to check out this article for yourself or get the news where I get my news, be sure to tap the link below, scan the QR code here on the screen to get involved with Ground News. They're an incredible website that takes in all the different stories that are going on and puts it into one page so you can clearly see exactly what everybody is saying about said thing, which makes it incredibly easy for people like you and me to just get the news and then leave because it's too toxic out there. It's too insane. It's too crazy. But here, no emotions, no BS. You're in and out and you're done. And it doesn't stop there. They really do empower you, especially with this section called Blind Spot. Now, what this is, it shows you everything that the left is not talking about. They're not showing you, they're not talking about online, but the right is. And on the opposite side, it shows you everything that the left is talking about, but stuff that the right isn't talking about or they're just throwing off to the side. No, Blind Spot puts everybody on blast. And it shows you exactly what is going on. For example, on the left, Zohran Mamdani clarifies racial identity after 2009 college application. I believe this man put in that he was black. Yeah, Zohran Mamdani listed both Asian and black and African American on his racial identities in his 2009 Columbia University application. What? Now the left isn't talking about this that much at all, but of course the right is, because the left, that's their little golden child now all of a sudden, and the right is really gonna be digging in on him. And then right here, U.S. lets GE restart jet engine shipments to China. I could have sworn on July 4th, the U.S. authorized aerospace to resume exporting jet engines to China, reversing the suspension that had just been put on earlier in May. Yeah, I could have sworn I saw something complete opposite early on in May. Yeah, and see, I wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for ground news. So regardless, you guys, if you want to be informed and stay up to date on everything regarding the news and what's going on, which we have to talk about this. Rest in peace to the people in Texas. That's insane. But if you want to get involved with ground news, be sure to tap the link below. It's getting a QR code here on the screen. Then you can get started. They're giving up to 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the one that I use in this video to highlight all the cool features and things that you get for honestly like the price of one coffee a month, which is totally worth it again in this news landscape. The only thing I really depend on and rely on is ground news, and it's for the very reason that you see everything clear as day. So again, be sure to tap the link below. It's getting a QR code on the screen to get involved.
If this actually passes, what will be the tangible impact to the average American's annual income? Thankfully, the University of Pennsylvania, specifically the Penn Wharton budget model, answers this question with, at this point, our best estimates to help you understand, okay, if this goes through based on the tax cuts, based on the spending cuts, and all the other things in the bill, what will be the actual impact?
Keyword estimates from this nonprofit org that's trying to put together and model everything and saying, based off of these medians and who depends on what and who's doing this and that. These are likely what people are going to be, how it could be impacting you. And it's important to highlight that because there's a lot of this what we're reacting to right now, thousands and thousands and thousands of views. People see this, how the big beautiful bill could impact your income, and they think it's like legit. They think it's like verbatim, this is going to happen to them. Keyword could, it's all hypotheticals, it's all like, it's dependent on so many different things. The main point of this is to highlight keyword could impact your income. And it takes into account way too much to just blanket statement, apply this to every single person within these brackets. That's not how this works. So there's no need to get this alarmed. When I went into the comment section of this post, everybody was like, oh, well, I deserve my $840 or, in my 820, I need that, this, that, and the third. That's not how this works, you guys. You're okay. There's so much that goes into it, and there's so much context missing. There's just too much fear. There's too much fear and anger and intense emotions out there. So that when people make videos like this, people get alarmed really quick. And they get defensive really quick. And it's why all these narratives are being thrown about this bill, that, this, that, and the third. Because they see things like this, your income, negative this, and then they freak out. When in reality, it's not always applicable to everybody out there.
Let's talk about the big beautiful bill, because unfortunately for the left, it hasn't sunk in for them yet that you don't make the poor rich by making the rich poorer, although they are trying their darndest and bankrupting all of us in the process. You see, they would have you believe that just because something is helpful for upper class Americans, it must inherently be harmful for lower and middle class Americans, but that couldn't be further from the truth, and I'm going to actually substantiate that to you rather than just fear mongering. For example, one of the main goals of this bill is to make permanent the 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Act, which was a major win for lower and middle class Americans who saw their household incomes rise by $5,000 as well as their wages increase by 5%. On top of that, we're going to be seeing taxes removed from tips for service workers who usually fall into those categories. Obviously, they are going to be depositing that money back into the economy, which is going to help to be boosting it.
That's important. That money is just recirculating back into our economy. We're getting more money, we're saving more money, spending it here in America, spending it at the local businesses, spending it for people to keep their jobs and, actually just doing trade and furthering our economy here in the United States, keep the circle going.
$10,000 tax deduction for people who buy American-made automobiles. Obviously, that's going to be very helpful for people buying the vehicle on top of the automobile industry as a whole, which the Democrats bankrupted by overtaxing that industry until they decided to go overseas where it was cheaper.
Which is also important because now you have companies coming back to the United States, which is doing what? It's creating more jobs for those people who are working in the factories that are making these cars here in America. And they're also giving you that incentive to buy the made in America car so that you keep this cycle going. You see what I'm saying? Like this is not all bad.
Bringing fossil fuels back to America, where we are going to be seeing American providers. Unlike Biden, who actually bankrupted the Keystone Pipeline, pulled funding, and then told those middle working class Americans that if they wanted a job, they should probably go learn how to code. But yeah, tell me again how it's the right that's hurting the working class. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. On top of that, we're also going to be seeing a tax credit for both children and for the elderly. Many people on the left are trying to fearmonger and say that he's pulling benefits from those who need it the most. No, he's not. If you actually read the bill, you see the benefits are being slashed from people who don't need it, but instead have been leeching off of our government. For example, with SNAP. Now, it's specifically going after able-bodied Americans who have no dependents, so people who are choosing not to work. We have plenty of open jobs. They are choosing not to take those positions so that they could just live off of the government, live off of the...
She is snapping. And I think so much can be done for this nation if we all stop looking at the AOCs and just like went to the source for ourselves. Truly, how much would be solved if you just looked into the information for yourself and instead of getting emotional, I hate Trump, I hate this big bill, I hate this, I hate that, just look at it. Read it. Find out for yourself what is actually going on, and what you'll see, it's a bit of common sense up in that damn bill. I'm telling you now, at least what I can see and what I found myself, like this girl is saying, okay, it's incentivizing people to get up and work. We all know people taking advantage of the system. It sucks.
Taxpayer dollars, and that is going to be stopping and saving us plenty of money. He's not taking it away from Americans who actually need it. People are also trying to say that he's going after important benefits such as Medicaid, but if you look at where the Medicaid is being pulled from, it's being pulled from Planned Parenthood. That is something that should have been stopped funding a long time ago.
That is true. But I also will say Planned Parenthood does a lot more than just abortions. That's where a lot of the money comes from, but they offer a plethora of different resources. However, I don't think it's right for taxpayer money to be funding abortions. I'm not saying stop abortions. I'm not, that's not even a take on abortions, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. It's literally just a matter of, hey, we're not paying for it. That's it. That's all that is.
Many people are trying to say that because this bill is expensive, it's going to be bankrupting us, but that's not what the Council of Economic Advisors say. They actually say that the GDP is expected to grow by 4.2%, and we are going to see investments rise by 19%. So sure, this bill is going to be helpful to the wealthy, the wealthy who invest in people's businesses, who create jobs for Americans, who do all of these wonderful things, who invest their own money and take their own risks in order to advance the United States as a whole, but it's also going to bring up the lower and middle class because you don't have to bring anybody down to make America great again.
Facts. You don't have to do all of that. And when it comes to the uber wealthy, whatever you want to call it, if you're giving these people more tax breaks and you're giving these people more money, they can pour that money back into their business. They can pour that money back into hiring more people. They can pour that money into making new locations, like furthering making America great again. The fear mongering is beyond me. It really is. It truly is. This girl snapped, and we're gonna be getting into a lot of what she mentioned, but off the bat, I'm not saying necessarily what is so fearful, honestly, about this bill.
My whole house is on Medicaid. My husband, me, our baby daughter. Okay, we're all on Medicaid. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to have the birth control in my arm that I have. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to have the antidepressants that I have at no cost to me. Without Medicaid, I wouldn't be able to go to therapy.
In regards to birth control, don't have sex, wear a condom, pull out. Antidepressants, I know why people need them, but looking at this person, I'm being totally honest, totally real. I'm not even trying to be a bully. Go work out. You don't look healthy at all. It comes to no surprise why you may need antidepressants. Why is that funded by us? I don't know. But off the bat, getting into this video, there's a lot of people who look at this video and they're like, my taxes are going to what? To just give you birth control? To just give you antidepressants, even though I know your lifestyle is leading to you also being depressed? Let's keep going.
To continue to be the mom I am to the 3 kids and 2 separate houses that I have to do.
And whose fault is that? Because you got kids in different households. Now it's my responsibility with the plethora of taxes that I pay. That's somehow on me because of your decisions you made.
Without Medicaid, my daughter wouldn't be able to go and get her vaccines and go and get all of the things that she needs as an 18-month-old baby. Without Medicaid, my husband wouldn't be able to go and get the medications that he needs and the treatment that he needs for his disability.
Which I'm pretty sure what I read, if the man's disabled, he's gonna be getting Medicaid. If the child will be getting Medicaid, but it's only if y'all need that. Y'all, the income there, everything, if everything lines up, you'll get help. But really, this is cutting from people who don't necessarily need it.
Not a single person in my house would have health care. We are low income. Our only income is my husband's SSI. We're on food stamps. We use food pantries.
This person says, Their only income is through her husband's social security and if they use food stamps. But I took one look into this person's TikTok page. They have almost 50,000 followers. They get thousands of views. So there has to be some money there. At that, if you have this time to run this TikTok page, post these videos, edit these videos, and you have almost 50,000 followers, you can work remote. Clearly remote, but like just sitting here cashing in on your husband's check, posting TikToks and getting free this, free that, and just coasting by. That's not gonna fly anymore. It's not.
Okay, without Medicaid, we would never be healthy. And for us, it's not even like body, it's all mental.
It is about your body. If you want to be healthy for your children, to provide for your children, be there, be a good parent, you need to be fit. I get mental health is a big thing. We talk about a lot on this channel. At the end of every single video, I talk about your mental health. I get it. But if your physical health is not there, it's damn sure ain't helping.
I already have 2 children who are diagnosed with autism. So what if she ends up getting diagnosed with autism? We need Medicaid. We need Medicaid. And if you live in America, everybody deserves free healthcare. That's it. I just love you.
No. If you live in America, you don't deserve free healthcare because America has a health issue in general. And what I'm not about to do is sit here and pay for someone's healthcare when I know they're making decisions that are making them completely unhealthy, that's going to make them have to use the healthcare. We have car insurance. You never want to use it, but you got it. You have home insurance. You never want to use it, but you got it. We have health insurance. We should never want to use it, but too many people rely on it. I'm all down for these being safety nets for people in very unfortunate situations. I can get behind that, but you running the whole social media TikTok page and complaining about this, that, and the third, when it's clearly you're able to do something about it, you clearly are able to run a social media account. That's a job right there, social media manager for a small company. Boom. This is an example of what people are just not having anymore.
They say, how could you support the big, beautiful bill? Oh, I don't know, Karen. Maybe because this is exactly what I voted for. Putting more money back into the pockets of hardworking Americans by not taxing their tips or their overtime. Making sure that my tax dollars don't go to paying for benefits for illegal immigrants that shouldn't even be in this country to begin with.
Especially with these ICE riots and the ICE protests and immigration stuff going on, it brings in some very interesting parallels that we should go over. Because what we're going to look at right here, for this right here is New York. Since spring of 2022, tens of thousands of asylum seekers, illegal immigrants for the most part. There are asylum seekers, but there's also illegal immigrants, and everything gets mixed all in with each other. Do you see this? Do you see these numbers? 3 billion, 2 billion, 7 billion, 1, 3. Like, so on one end, you're complaining about how crappy America is, but then you're also voting for people that are going to be giving your tax money to people that are breaking the law. Logistically, that doesn't make sense to me. Even here, California to spend $8.4 billion this year on healthcare for illegal aliens. So again, there's people that are like seeing those numbers that we talked about in the beginning of this video. Oh my gosh, that's $1,000 of my money. That's $500 of my money. How are you mad about, oh, these tax cuts, this and that. Now I got to spend more money here and there. But you're voting for tax money to go to this. Do you care? Do you not? I need you to pick one. If you care about America, you care about the things going on in this country, and you care about making this a prosperous country for you and your family, maybe you should focus on America first. You two worry about Ukraine. You two worry about Palestine, Israel, illegal immigrants, everybody under the sun. Again, trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho for the whole damn world instead of your home. I genuinely don't. People are up in arms over this damn bill, but will vote for things like this. It just gets to a point where, are you upset because you genuinely care and you genuinely understand what is going on? Or are you upset because you're being told to be upset? Are you upset because AOC's upset? Are you upset because Elon's upset? Are you upset because this, that, and like, are you thinking for yourself? And if you're not, why are you again allowing yourself to be controlled and manipulated by the freaking headlines that you're seeing day in and day out? When we all know, even me, myself, we got shit to worry about right here. And I don't mean right here as in America, because we definitely do. I mean right here in your own home. How many of us out there watching and listening to this video right now are just going through some shit? You're just going through it right now. And how many of us are going through something right now? You're just distracting yourself with something else to be upset about. You're just pointing that anger, that frustration to something else, instead of looking within to fix the problems in your own home and in your own self. How many of us out there are falling into this trap of a repetitive, falling into the rage bait, getting all up in arms over something else, a new thing going on in the media, and not paying attention to what you gotta fix here at home? Because there's people out there that will see these numbers with the tax stuff, like, oh my gosh, like this is being cut, what am I gonna do? Why do you have the newest iPhone? Why did you finance that through Verizon? Why did you put this $40 Amazon order on Klarna? Honestly ask yourself and look around. How many people do we know whose life is just a shit show, but for some reason they are just so concerned with what Trump is doing, with what this governor is doing, with what AOC is doing, everything in the sun. Like, oh, they're gonna make life so hard. Your life is already hard. If you cooling, you good, you Gucci, and then you're upset, cool. But if your life is already a shit show and it's already a hot mess, and you're just looking at everything else to just be mad at in the world and be upset and angered and triggered, you just need to log off. You need to log off and take a break. I'm tired of going through these and seeing this media outrage and people upset, this, that, and the third, and looking around and no one being brutally honest with themselves and the world. We have too many people out there coasting by, too many people out there complaining when their own life is a hot mess, too many people out there taking advantage of the system, too many things that we need to be addressing here in our nation. And that's the sad truth. And the migrant spending made me think of all this, because it's like, do you actually care? Do you care? Do you care about legal immigrants? Do you care about people coming in the right way? Or are you just like, everybody can come in no matter what? And then they do that and things get chaotic, then what? Listen, you guys, we here, we chilling, we having an honest conversation, but I'm over the BS and I'm over the theatrics. It's so annoying.
I think it's so funny how the left has been calling the right a cult for months now, yet here we are. We have this big, beautiful bill. Everyone's disagreeing with each other on the right side. Forget the left for a second, just on the right. We have everyone disagreeing with each other. Congress disagrees with the president. The president disagrees with his associates. Elon Musk disagrees with the entire Republican Party. Everyone's disagreeing with each other. And that's not giving cult. Cults don't do that. And now the left's motto about it is that Elon's backtracking. So he was in a cult, right? He was in a cult. Now he's disagreeing because it's human nature.
A perfect analogy, a perfect point. The left is screaming that the right is in this big old cult like MAGA cult, this, that, and the third. Because it seems to me that it's in a really bad cult for all of us to be disagreeing with each other and having these conversations. Because like this person said, well, he's just backtracking, or he's just a human and we were never in the cult. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the cult is the political part of the side that says, if you don't think exactly like me, you're out.
So as somebody that grew up on government assistance and food stamps, I'm not mad at Trump at all for cutting some of the government benefits that they're giving out, because y'all, let's not act as if people aren't abusing this. Let's not act as if we ain't got an epidemic of people who just don't want to go to work because they expect the government to take care of them. I saw two people on TikTok the other day arguing, and it was a man and a woman, and the man wanted to go to work. The woman was mad at him, yelling at him, would not let him go to work because of the fact if they found out about his income, she would lose her government funded housing and she would lose her benefits. And she would not let the man go to work because she didn't want to lose that.
And we all know this to be a thing. We know there's people that take advantage of the system. We know there's people who are scheming the government to get that Section 8 housing, to get the welfare, to get the food stamps, and this, that, and the third. These people exist. And all we're trying to do is wipe that out. And I don't see that as a bad thing. It's just forcing people to go to work. That's really what I'm seeing.
I think that's an issue in America, bro. Like, there's a lot of people that do that. Y'all, if Trump is opening up more jobs, then you should want to get up and go work and not have to depend on the government. The government assistance is a stepping stone to help you get to a point where you can get back on your feet and do for yourself and take care of yourself. That's what it's about. It's not about, just sit back and let people who go out and work take care of me so I can live an easy life because I need to live an easy life for whatever reason, bruh. All of us have to get up and work. White people, black people, Mexicans, everybody got to get up and work. It don't matter. Nobody is owed anything by the government. Nobody is owed anything by America. Nobody deserves no handouts, bro. I don't want no handouts.
That's facts. Like, we don't deserve handouts. America doesn't, like that other video was talking about, well, I deserve free Medicaid. No, you don't. You have to work. No one deserves anything for free. Are there things we agree on in a society that we say this is a safety net? You know, we'll catch somebody, we'll help them here, for sure. But living off the system for life when you very well could work, no more taking advantage of the system. America's done.
We debunk Trump's big, beautiful bill, please, because there's a lot of fear-mongering going around right now, and I'm sick of the misinformation, so let's get this over with. Starting off with the biggest complaint are the 17 million Americans that may be removed from Medicaid if this bill goes through. This is for people who are working less than 80 hours a month, have no dependents, and are able-bodied. If you're not putting any money into the system, why should everyone else have to pay for you? I simply am not getting the criticism over this.
At all.
So we see a lot of bitching from people like Elon Musk that this is going to add trillions to our deficit. But if you see in the bill, it is built into the system how we are going to pay it back with these tax deregulations. People are also screaming that this bill is favoring the wealthy. This is, yet again, taken out of context. This is lowering the corporate tax rate so it can boost hiring and create more jobs and put more people working that don't have a job right now. This bill also increases the spending on the border wall for about $100 billion. This is exactly what we voted for.
It's exactly what people voted for, and this is why we're not seeing people that upset. And whether they're white and gay, Black, Hispanic, it don't matter. There's a lot of people coming together and really like clearing the air on this bill, saying, hey, this is what I voted for. This is what I want. Calm down. And it's sad that you see this more on the right, because I see the left is freaking melting down over this damn thing. And I've really been sitting to myself thinking, like, what is going on? What is the problem?
Well, I'd love to stand here and tell the American people, we can cut your taxes and we can increase spending and everything's going to be just fine. But I can't do that because I'm here to deliver a dose of reality. This bill dramatically increases deficits in the near term, but promises our government will be fiscally responsible 5 years from now. Where have we heard that before? How do you bind a future Congress to these promises? This bill is a debt bomb ticking. Congress can do funny math, fantasy math, if it wants, but bond investors don't. And this week, they sent us a message. Moody's downgraded our credit rating, and the bond investors who buy our debt and finance our debt demanded higher interest rates on the 10-year note, the 20-year note, and the 30-year note. What does this mean? Very soon, the government will be paying $16,000 of interest alone per U.S. family. And what are we telling them? Instead of taking care of that problem, we're going to give you a $1,600 tax break. Under the taxing and spending levels in this bill, we're going to rack up, the authors say, $20 trillion of new debt over the next 10 years. I'm telling you, it's closer to $30 trillion of new debt in the next 10 years.
Thomas Massie, the Republican, he's been so against this bill, it's not even funny. Much like Elon Musk. Really, all the Republicans that have ever been against this bill, they don't even really care about what's in it. They just care about the amount of money that's being spent and all the projections that are stated to be coming with this bill. Which now, again, I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. Spare me with that. What I do know is I never really expected us to not spend money. I know that's what we do. It's unfortunate. Something needs to give. Something needs to change. But damn it, right here, right now, if we're going to be spending money, at least it's towards the right things. And we do need to be fixing this money spending issue. We can't just keep printing money because obviously it's going to devalue the dollar. There's things that we need to be changing. But off the bat, super high level, not too plugged in, not an official congressman, I'd much rather the money being spent how it's spent now than like the other goals that like other Democrats have been pushing for us to be spending money, you know? So at least right now we're in control of where the money's going. I'm fond of that. If there's a clear plan on what we can do to help save money, hence Doge, but then that's why Elon's mad because we're still spending money. Something needs to be addressed. Something needs to be fixed. But my thoughts on this are that, one, while yes, I agree with Tommy Massie in that last video, I agree something needs to change, like Elon Musk is trying to do in a new party and really hone in on this government spending. On the other side, I don't regret my vote. I'm very much fond of where the money's going, at least for now. I'm cool with all this money being spent on our defense. I'm cool with all this money being spent on immigration because we need to fix the sheer damage that has been done to America. Because what I want to do is stop all this other spending, the pointless spending overseas, the pointless spending in our government, and people taking advantage of it, which be sure to subscribe because the video I have coming out really soon. It's all about EBT cards and SNAP and welfare. There's so much to get into react to that on that point. But yes, I am on the fence of one. There's a couple things. One, I do agree we need to stop spending this much money. I do. Something needs to change. That's a given. What that is, I don't know. But Republicans like Thomas Massie, and you got people like Elon Musk really trying to figure that out. I'm cool with that. Two, if we're gonna keep pointlessly spending money, acting like we just have it on, we're just printing money nonstop, rather be spent on defense than like transing kids. That's just me. That's two. Three, I ranted about this earlier in this video, but damn, if you got things to worry about in your own life, in your own family, go take care of home first. You more concerned about this damn bill than your own life right now. If you got things to worry about that and calm down. There's no need to be this hyperfixational on all the politics and this money and that money, this and that. Like you got one life, one. I'm not saying don't care about what's going on in our government or our world. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you can approach these things from a calm, cool, rational perspective and just peep something and be like, I don't like that. Or, I like this. And then go do your own thing. But getting this ingrained, like I've seen some of these videos like AOC talking about this is the deal with the devil and this is gonna be harmful for America. This bro, wind it back for me a little bit, please. But overall, that's my thoughts on this big, beautiful bill. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not. We went through the things inside the bill. I'm very cool with a lot of the things in the bill. Again, the one thing I'm probably not liking the most is the amount of money that we're spending. But again, I'm not an economist. I'm not this huge like government expert. I'm not sure exactly how to fix that problem. It's been a problem since before I was born. So hey, I want more people like Thomas Massie in charge to help fix things around and see what needs to be adjusted. I love the work that Elon Musk has been doing. Am I the biggest fan of Elon Musk? Not much. I don't know anybody that is. However, I'm not going to negate some of the good things that he's done for our government and for the things he's trying to do in America, even to the point of buying eggs. I'm fond of. But the point I really wanted to hit home was for people to calm down. Just calm down. I've seen so much hip and holler about this damn bill. It is insane, you guys. But let me know in the comments below, where do you land? What do you think about this bill? Have you been absolutely terrified of it? Have you just been like waiting on a video like this to kind of just talk about it rationally? Have you been loving the bill? What are your perspective? What are your thoughts? Comment below. I love the discussions that we have in the comment section. It's really cool to see the people going back and forth and sharing different ideas. Love it. Additionally, as a reminder, I am going on tour this fall Nights with Amir Odom, coming to a city near you. I am hitting Toronto, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Seattle, Phoenix, and LA. In Chicago. I think I already said Chicago. Hitting those cities, be sure to go to amirodom.com for all information. I cannot wait to meet you guys. We're talking about so much from my journey from the left to the right, current events to a Q&A. I cannot wait for that. So again, thank you for all the love and support on this channel. Truly means the world to me. We're on our road to 650,000 subs on this YouTube channel. Blows my mind every time I think about it, but I'm just incredibly fortunate and just thankful to have you guys here and spend your time with me watching these videos. It is a lot of time. It is a lot of energy, and I don't take it for granted. It's awesome to have you here. Awesome whether you're listening, watching, eating, in bed, on the car, whatever it may be. Hello, hi, my name's Amir. Thankful that you're here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. But before I go, again, you control way more than you ever realize. In your life, I just need you to take care of yourself. Acknowledge that it is okay to not be okay. Acknowledge that it is okay to pull back and just kind of fix things and get your life in order. And also acknowledge that no one can fix anything in your life but you. So what are you going to do to do that? What are you going to do to lock in, tunnel vision, focus on you and only you so that you can get to your golden dreams? Because we only got one chance on this earth, you guys. One shot. So what are you doing with that shot? I hope it's worth it. So that being said, I'll catch you in the next video. Deuces.